Hi folks. So I've got to come back to the thing I said in an earlier video. An earlier one today. That is. This whole point that you've got to be more sensitive, you've got to show more empathy. And you've got to consider that maybe I've had a hard day, so therefore if you're going to send a message that's tough, don't send it. Make sure I'm in the right sort of mood to be able to receive that. You know that comes from the world, and that's in the world. It's in jobs, it's in colleges, it's in all these other places. Right? Come on. I don't see the value of church. No, at all. With the way church is, I see it having virtually no value. The standard of worship is that I do. Really, in most worship, in most churches, the standard will be that will do. Okay? The standard of the ministry will be that will do. Because, it's done according to the world, according to how worldly speakers would do it. That's the whole point. They saw, years ago in the 60s, 70s, how worldly speakers were brilliant. And whether it's comedians, whether it's actors, whether it's whatever, they saw how they prepared and practiced and perfected and then performed, and how that was quite easy to watch. And they put a few laughs in there, they put a few sad bits in there. They had the right sort of gaps in there as well. You got to learn to do that. That's what church needs. It's of this world. Completely. And then, as I say, they've got the McDonald's ideal, where you go into a Baptist church anywhere in the world and you'll recognise it as a Baptist church. Where do you see that in the Word of God? It's not in there. It's of this world. It's to make people feel more comfortable when they go to different churches in different parts of the world. It's like McDonald's. Exactly the same as McDonald's. There's so much of the world in the church now. For goodness sake, it used to be the case there was so much of the church in the world. And yet now it's the other way around. Jeez. I had an appointment with the job centre because I'm not able to work, so you've got to go through these appointments. And I was talking to her about the fact of work. I said, wouldn't it be better if you're doing a crap job to actually be told you're doing a crap job and, this is what you need to do to get it right and to keep your job? Wouldn't it be better to have that than to be sacked? And she said, well, no, what we would do normally is we would bring the person in and, maybe if you just improve upon this and maybe if you just improve upon that. You're doing a good job, but if you just improve. I said, well, that won't work. I said, people know that you're not taking it seriously if you're doing that. People know you don't really care. That your standards are so low that you don't care, so therefore they can keep on making mistakes, they can keep on not even bothering, and it won't matter. Therefore, they're probably going to get sacked. So we've gone away from the point of truth. We've gone away from the point that we care enough about people that we actually bother to speak the truth to them. And so, I said that when people ask in the future, why did you turn your back on that church? Because if I can't speak the truth to the people there, then I can't care about them, can I? Because if I'm going to care about those people, then I'm going to have to care enough to speak truth. Well, I know if I speak truth, they're going to keep getting offended. Because that's who they are. And when they get offended, they won't come to me about it. They won't go to God about it. Because that's the point, right? The pastor. If I'm in that position in a church, and people are coming to me and saying, "Oh, that person thinks he knows more than I do," I would say, "Look, go to God about it. Go to God. Go and pray. Go seek God about this situation. Say to God, this person thinks he knows more than I do, because there's a good chance the person does actually know more than you. In which case, let God help you to deal with that, because that's the point. Go to Him. If you're going to go to me, then I'm going to take you in the other room and I'm going to help you to explain this in front of everyone there. Right? Because you're going to me, you're not going to the person, right, about this. You're coming to me. So you're skipping steps 1 and 2. You're coming straight to me. Nah, you don't do that. What did he do? Was there any consequences for them doing things completely against the word of God? Was he trying to help them? No. He was trying to make sure that he looks good in this. So what? Yeah, of course. If someone goes in, would I necessarily say exactly what I just said? I don't know. Maybe not. But if somebody does say that, of course, people will be offended by that, right? Well, they would have the option of being offended by that. That thought would be in their head. But they don't have to take it, right? So that's another thing with regards to being offended. That thought might come in your head, but you decide whether or not you take it. Right? Yes, I get very offended at the idea that we're supposed to care more about how people see us than we do about people. That, yeah, I would nuke the whole bloody church right now. Seriously, I'd nuke the whole bloody lot. I'd say, yeah, if I was God, can you just, any church that thinks in that way, can you just send the Spirit down and wipe them all out? Just then start again. Get rid of the people. Just wipe them out. Just put a plague upon the people in church that think in that way. Just get rid of them. They're worth nothing. Anyone who thinks that, anyone who promotes that way of thinking, for goodness sake, we'd be better off without them. That's what I'd do. Of course, thankfully for them, sadly for the rest of the world, I don't have that authority, because if I did, I'd do that. Seriously, I would. I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. Because if these people are on a path that's going to lead to hell, they're going to go to hell. If right now they're on a path that's going to lead to heaven, but in future they're going to be on a path that's leading to hell, at least some of them might get to heaven by dying right now. Leaving them as they are, they're going to all go to hell. So if some of them go to heaven, good. That's better than none. No. I look at it and I go, this is just not good enough. And in the end, in my head, I just get his answers. Oh, we're doing the best we can. No, you're not. You're not. And I go back to something I said in the last video about this point about the arrogance of people that think that people in church don't pick the wrong people, or that everyone goes to God about who is going to be their husband or wife. I went to God about that in 2021, about Kylie Bevan. I said, well, come on, she's married. And God said, and? That was, he said, and? As if, what does that matter? Yeah, okay, she's married. So what? There's a lot of people in church who are married to their second wives or second husbands already. There's evidence in church that people marry the wrong people. And the whole idea that I could have thought that maybe someone who ended up being married was supposed to be my wife would be such a horrendous thing to think. What? What? Are you blinking kidding me? Oh, there you go. So, yeah, thankfully for them, I'm not in charge.